Hello, my name's Jackie, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, I am an aspiring writer who is attempting NaNoWrimo for the first time. So it is now the 23rd of November, which means it is day 2 of week 3. Week 3? Week 4. So it's day 2 of week 4. As per usual, I did no writing on Friday, which means I've got a little bit of catching up to do. So I had 36,144 words when I finished up on Thursday, which was about 1,000 words ahead of where I needed to be. So today I should only need about 2,000 words or so to catch up. However, I don't know if I'm going to get all that writing done today because something that's been working for me for the last couple of weeks is mapping out the scenes I want to write before I write them. So in October, I did a whole month of prepping. I tried 3 different plotting methods to map out 3 different book ideas I was playing with for NaNoWrimo. And even though I really tried and I really wanted to have a complete outline by the time November started, the time did not stop being time. Days continued to pass and November started even though my plots weren't as developed as I hoped. So what I've been doing since then is I had an idea of the main scenes in the story, but I hadn't really mapped out the scenes specifically. So I knew that main character was going to get kicked out of home, but I didn't know how that was going to play out. So one of the things I've been doing over the past couple of weeks is for the next 2 or 3 scenes, I've been going, okay, well, I want this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. And sometimes when I'm doing that, I might think of some dialogue I want to put in there. So I have a little screenplay going on. And that's been really helpful for getting me through my words quite consistently. And it's one of the reasons why last week I finished ahead of where I needed to be. The problem is I've gotten to the stage in the book where other than maybe 3 scenes I can think of off the top of my head, I'm not sure what else is going to happen. So to give you a better sense of what I'm talking about, this is the board I did as part of my Save the Cat plotting process. And you can see, so each of these post-it notes is a scene, and you can see the first half of the book has a lot more in it than the second half. Now I'm currently sitting before the midpoint, but I'm approaching it. So what I want to do today is take a step back and spend a little bit more time plotting to see if I can get a better sense of the scenes I need to get from where I am now to the midpoint, and then what I need to get from the midpoint to the, if not the climax, to the all is lost, dark night of the soul moment. And that will probably be at least, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6 to 10 scenes. So having that mapped out, even though it's not the rest of the book, that'll be plenty to get me to my 50,000 words just based on what I have so far. So given that, I might not actually get that much writing done today. Having said that, that doesn't worry me too much because my husband and I are off work for this week, which is going to be amazing. So we're going to Italy on Monday, and even though, like, it's not a writing retreat, we're going to be out and about and eating lots of pasta and pizza and so on, but it does mean I'm not working a full-time job for the next week. So even if today isn't a very high word count day, I think that that's not a problem because I will have a lot more time and a lot more energy to devote to this in the coming week. But for now, I need to start plotting. Rather than starting with what needs to happen next in the book, I thought I'd start with what I already had. So I've just scrolled through my Word document to give every major plot point a 1 or 2 sentence summary. And what's really interesting is that there's so much more in the book than what I'd thought about last month when I was doing all of this preparation work. Like, there are, some of the big events are the same. They're things I thought of back then, but how one leads to the other, some of the different layers or elements that have been introduced that help tie everything together. There's a lot that's brand new, and I'm looking at it going, obvious, it's a first draft, it needs a lot of work, but I'm looking at it going, oh my god, like, well done, Jackie's brain, you've done good work here. So yeah, I don't even know what this snippet is for. I just thought, yeah, I'm a little bit pleased with myself. It's like if writer Jackie was a separate person, I would be giving her a pat on the back right now because I think what's there is working well, and yeah, now the next step is just to think about what happens next. So we have a problem. As you know, my plan was to try and map out not the rest of the book, but from where I am now to the midpoint, and then from the midpoint around about to the climax / Dark Night of the Soul. The problem is, I'm only up to the next new scene, and it just makes me want to write the next new scene rather than continuing with the plotting. And I think I'm going to. No, I don't think, I know I'm going to. So I'm going to go ahead with mapping out just that scene and then writing it, because this is a challenging part of the book, because it's where Hannah, the main character, needs to basically switch her perspective. She needs to change sides. So until now, her goal has been to go back to her family and get accepted by her father. And this is the time when she's really going to go over to the dark side, if you like. So she's going to go against her father and really side with the mob, who are his main enemy. And I'm not sure. So I know action-wise what's going to happen. I know there's a conversation and they're going to prepare for this mission and they're going to try and steal the father's research. But I'm not sure what happens emotionally to make that change occur, and I feel like I can't go on to the next scene until I know that. So I'm going to put a pause on plotting and write that scene, after which I will decide whether there's still time left to plot today or whether I should finally finish the Christmas shopping and get back to plotting tomorrow. So after I went and said that I was so excited about the next scene I had to write that I had to write it then, I couldn't continue plotting, it was a really hard writing session. So I did 2,177 words, and I think the first 1,500 words of that was crap. Like I just couldn't get into it. So I actually think that psychologically and emotionally, the scene I'm in now is the midpoint, and I was thinking it would be a sequence of scenes and she wouldn't get the information for another couple of scenes, but the way I planned it out was that she's just basically been tattooed by the mafia against her will, so isn't particularly happy with them, and they're planning a mission and want her help, and she went to the meeting, was all stroppy like, oh well, I'm not going to help you. And then one of her main contacts said, okay, come with me, and gave her this file. And the file actually has all of the information that we've been hinting at until now. And when I came up with the idea of just doing it in this one bam, and she gets all the information and needs to put it together until it makes sense, I thought, oh, that could work really well. I don't know if it can't or if I just haven't done it well, but yeah, describing someone going through documents isn't the most captivating read. So the first 1,500 words was really hard. I really struggled to get into it. I did consider not writing anything today and just putting it off until tomorrow. But I pushed through, and I think the last 600 to 700 words are good, because that's the moment when she sees something and goes, oh, that doesn't make sense, and that creates the snowball effect where one thing piles on another. It's like, oh my god, look at all of this stuff he's done, and my father is a really bad person and we should stop him. So it gets to where it needed to get to. In fact, I haven't finished. I'm like partway through the realization sequence, but I need to think of... So I've basically got 3 kidnapped children at this stage. I know the final secret that I want to reveal. I'm not sure how it can be revealed though. Would be nice if I could put a dead body in there though. Anyway, so I wasn't sure how to do the last piece of information, so I'm stopping partway through the scene and we'll get back to that tomorrow. So the scene did, or will end where it's supposed to. I'm not sure how to fix the beginning part, but it is a first draft, so this is a future Jackie problem, and I'm sure future Jackie's going to love me when she sees this video in a couple of months' time. So I'm calling it a day. It is, what is the time? It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to head out for some last-minute Christmas shopping, hoping that I can get the last few gifts knocked off in time to send tomorrow, because that's probably the last opportunity to get them back to Australia in time. And tomorrow I will attempt to finish this scene, and I will also get back to plotting, and I was going to say, and I'll actually finish plotting this time, but who knows, I might get to the next scene and decide I just have to write that. So we'll see what happens. It's always an adventure. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. So it is Sunday, the 24th of November, and my husband and I are going to Florence tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. So I thought I'd chat with you while I pack today, because packing is, of course, the most exciting thing that you can watch me do. So, I just passed the 40,000 word mark on my NaNoWrimo novel, which is really exciting, and I finally got another badge, so very happy to NaNoWrimo for giving me that badge, because I haven't had one since I hit 10,000 words, which was a couple of weeks ago now. The reason I didn't film while I was doing my usual writing and plotting today is because, this wasn't folded very well, is because yesterday I felt like having to report on how I was doing was actually getting in the way of the plotting exercise, and I wanted to see how I went without the expectation that I would need to give an update. When it comes to how I didn't actually do that much better, unfortunately, and I'm not sure if it's a problem, because so we're at this point in the book where Hannah has just realised that her father's an asshole. He's done a whole lot of really bad things, and she's decided to side with the mafia to help steal some of his research. And so we've got this scene now where they're sort of planning the heist, and then they're going to break into his home to perform the heist, and then they're going to discover it was a trap, and he's going to trap them in there and basically demand that they give her back. Which is kind of cool. So one of the things that's fun about working on the book is seeing how things evolve in a way you didn't expect. So a few weeks ago I had this idea where he was going to have infiltrated one of their bases, and his face would appear on all of the computer screens and start talking to them and basically say, I've put all these bombs throughout your network and I'm going to blow it up if you don't give my daughter back. And now that's actually leading on from this scene, which is cool. But that means we've got this sort of midpoint sequence with plan for the heist, it's all a trap, oh no, what do we do? And then I know that I want Hannah to get recaptured by her father at some point. And logically, that should flow right on from here. I'm worried if it flows, but that's supposed to be the dark night of the soul moment, so I'm worried that if it flows right on from here, there's not going to be enough in this third part of the book, and there's not going to be. So generally you go straight from the dark night of the soul to the big climax, which is going to be an epic battle. And that means that I'm almost there. I'm only a couple of scenes away from the climax, which was not what I'd expected. I'll put a copy of my board on the screen. Now this is one of the Save the Cat exercises that I did back when I was reading Save the Cat. So the board comes after you've done your beat sheet, which is the 15 different beats that Blake Snyder recommends. On the board, you're supposed to divide your story into 4 parts. So first row is Act 1, the second 2 are Part 1 of Act 2, Part 2 of Act 2, and the final row is Act 4. Now what you'll see in my storyboard is that there are different coloured post-it notes. Now you're supposed to use different coloured post-it notes for different points of view. However, because this story is just taking place in one point of view, I decided not to do that and just had everything in yellow. So since I had all these colours available, what I did yesterday was, when I went through what I've written so far, was I added the new things I'd added in blue. So what you can see here is yellow is from the original board I did, and I removed some of those sticky notes that didn't work. Blue is what's already in the book that I've added, and orange is what I planned today and what I'm planning to write. And as you'll see, there are only 3 orange post-it notes, plus the remaining yellow ones. So there's actually not a lot left of the book. I'm not sure, I think this is a problem. I'm not sure how big a problem it is, because, so if you look at story engineering, which was my favourite plotting approach because Larry Brooks divides your book into percentages, there are key milestone events that happen at certain percentages through the book. So the event that sets the plot in motion happens at 25%, the midpoint happens at 50%, which is when the protagonist gets more information that moves them from being in a purely defensive, reactive position to being in an offensive, attacking position. And then there's the 75% mark, which is the climax. So that's when all of the information that's going to get introduced has been introduced, and there's the big battle that will lead to the resolution. Now, I have these moments. The problem is that I've got so much between the 25 and the 50% mark that if I wrap everything up so quickly, that means all of those percentages are going to be in the wrong place and the book structurally won't work as well as it should. So at this stage, I'm actually not sure what to do. I'm not sure whether I should just keep writing what I have and focus on those few scenes that I know I have, or I'm not sure if I should try and fix this now, so try and think of what bits are missing first rather than having to fix it up later. Having said that though, I need socks, but so the problem with doing your washing in Estonia, or at least in Tallinn in our building, is that the water's very hard here, and all of my socks, which were beautiful and soft in Australia, have gone all like crusty and yuck. So I have a handful of socks that I like to wear because they're the ones that are still softish, and they're out drying because we did the washing this morning, so I don't want to pack any of the socks I've got left in my drawer, so socks will happen later. Oh, that pair's okay. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so not sure how to approach the rest of my book. I think, unless I'm inspired to do something else, I think I'll just get through the next few scenes outlined on the orange post-it notes just because that's what's in my head, that's what I'm inspired to do, and they might end up being long scenes. So there are some of these post-it notes are actually like sequences of scenes rather than just being one scene per post-it. So it could end up being something like that where even though it is only 3 post-its, that ends up being 15,000 words, and it brings this part of the book up to the same length as the first 2 parts, which are currently 40,000 words. So we'll see. But all in all, I'm really happy to still be on track. I would love to finish in the next week, just because that means I can tie up the week 4 vlog with hitting my 50,000 words and being able to give a recap of how Nano went. I'll also have a better idea of how much longer I need to finish my book, because I already know it is going to be more than another 10,000 words. But let's see how the next week goes. In any case, I'm going to Italy tomorrow, so good things are coming. So hello from Munich Airport. Drew and I are on our way to Florence, and one of the really annoying things about living in Estonia is that it's very difficult to get direct flights anywhere. So we had our 2-hour flight here, and now we're here for 4 hours until we can get to Florence tonight. The good thing is though that I found this cool little area in the airport where I can do some writing. So on the flight I was basically mapping out the heist that's going to take place in the book now, because now this is a heist book. And so I mapped out the heist, and now I know enough about how it's all going to play out that I could take a step back and start doing the planning scene. I've also come up with an extra scene that's going to go in between the planning and the execution of the heist, which is going to be a chance for the main character to really bond with some of her new mafia mates. And that means that when everything goes wrong in the heist and her father shows up and basically demands they need to hand her over in order to leave with their lives, it's going to be a much bigger sacrifice to have to hand her over than it would have been if she was just hanging out with them and they hadn't bonded. So now all of that's mapped out, I have 4 hours. I'm going to see how much more I can get written today. Hello from Florence. So my husband and I got in at about 9:30 last night, and had a very, very bad night of sleep. Now, we're in an amazing location. We're right next to the central market. The problem is we're also right next to a square where on a Monday night people are out and talking until 2 a.m. because no one works in Florence, I guess. So the heating in this apartment was really high. There was no way to turn it off, so that meant sleeping with the windows open, which meant hearing all of the noise from outside. Around about 2 a.m. things got quiet, so had a lovely sleep until 5:30 when the garbage trucks started coming out. So a little bit tired, but the good news is that meant there was time for writing this morning before my husband gets up and before we go out and explore. So I did 2,368 words today, which brings me to 44,805 words. I just had this great Russian drinking scene, which was lots of fun, and everyone's bonded, so that'll make the stakes feel higher in the next scene. The good news is that I've already planned out the next scene because... So if you've ever watched any heist type films, you'll notice that there's always, they have to go through all of the obstacles in advance so you know how hard it's going to be and what a big achievement it will be if they actually successfully pull off the heist. So in order to do the preparation scene, I already needed to know how the heist would go. So I've actually already mapped out the next scene, which is really good. So we're in Florence until about 3 p.m. this afternoon, then we're getting a train down to Siena, which is where we're spending most of the week. That train is, I think, an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm hoping I can get into this next scene then. Having said that, I did think I'd get a lot more done yesterday at the airport, and after my initial writing session I was just dead, so we'll see how it goes. In any case, I am actually ahead of where I need to be again, which is exciting. So I have no idea what's going to happen after I finish the next scene, but how many words? I'm just looking at my word count. I've got Nanowrimo open on the table in front of me. So I've got 5,200 words left, and I'm just thinking, is the next scene going to be 5,200 words? And it could be, in which case I don't need to worry about what comes next to finish Nanowrimo. But at this stage, I'm optimistic about getting the next scene done. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen next, but this next thing will be at least 3,000 words, I think. It might be 5. In which case there won't actually be that much left for me to get to my 50,000 words, which is kind of surreal. Anyway, that's my day 26 update, and hopefully I can get some nice footage of Florence today. Hello and happy Wednesday! It is the final Wednesday of Nanowrimo, and we are in Siena, Italy, which looks absolutely gorgeous, though we only got in last night, so haven't really seen that much yet. I did sleep for 11 hours though, which was a big achievement, and I'm still feeling really tired though. I don't know if that's just like a Nanowrimo hangover type of thing. It's not even hangover because I'm still in the middle of it, but I don't know if I'm worn out because of Nanowrimo or if I'm just worn out in general, or if maybe I just need 2 nights of 11 hours of sleep and then I'll feel better. Who knows? But yesterday morning, as you know, I had a pretty good session. I did plan to write when we got on the train to head down here yesterday afternoon. I was so worn out though that I just used that time for reading because I'm also running behind in my Goodreads reading challenge for the year. So I think I've still got 12 books to do by the end of the year, which should be interesting. But today I only had like an hour to write before my husband got up. We're probably heading out in the next 20 minutes because we've got a cooking class today, which should be fun, which means there isn't a lot of time for writing. So I did about 1,400 words this morning, which means I'm still on track, but I would really like to do more, especially because now I'm in this scene that's already mapped out. And because I slept well last night, I do think I'll have some energy this afternoon to continue writing. I don't love what I wrote today. Again, it's really interesting. The scenes that seem like they should be the most interesting, so the shooting scene, the first part of the vodka drinking scene, this is the heist scene, they're the ones that seem like they should be the most interesting, but when I write them, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels like I'm just listing minutiae, like all of these little things need to happen to make the scene happen, but they're not interesting little things. I'm not sure what to do about that, but because this is NaNoWrimo, I'm just focusing on moving forward, so hoping that, don't know if I'll get to my 50,000 words today. I think tomorrow might be a possibility though, depending on how this afternoon goes. In any case, I will keep you informed. I think I did it. So, according to the NaNoWrimo website, as of yesterday, I had 46,239 words, which means I needed 3,761 words to hit 50,000. And according to For the Words, today I've written 4,339. So, assuming that everything's working properly at the NaNoWrimo end, I should have won NaNoWrimo. I should have 50,000 words. So, let's enter my numbers into the site. 50,578 words. NaNoWrimo winner! Yay! And I have my 50,000 word badge. Now let's claim my winner goodies.
Okay, November 1st, 50,000 words. Here we go. Okay, November 1st. 50,000 words. Here we go.
So beautiful. I love it so much.
I won.
Congratulations, winner!
This November you wrote a novel. Not quite in my case, but getting there. This is no small feat. 50,000 words in 30 days requires you to develop a mastery of time, collecting seconds, minutes and hours every day to create something brand new out of that shining raw material. What an incredible way to shape your time, your space. Thank you for writing, thank you for doing it with us. Congratulations again and again, many times into the future. I'm done. I'm also dead. I've been up for 4 hours and haven't had breakfast yet, so I think I'm going to have breakfast and enjoy my day and touch base later once I've replenished my words for the day because my brain needs a break, but I'm done. I mean, this week I knew I would finish because the end of week 3 I had enough words that I knew, like, I'd make myself get to 50,000. There was only 14,000 words left, I think, which is, you know, it was more than a week left, so I think it was pretty much spot on with the NaNoWrimo target of 1,667 words a day. So I knew with that amount of words left, I would get to the end, but thinking of where I was in October and where I was at the beginning of the month, it's still a little bit shocking. But yeah, I'm going to go off, enjoy my day, and I will come back when my brain's working a bit better. It is the end of the day. I have had very good pizza and reasonably good gelato, and I am feeling somewhat revived. However, I was going through the footage that I did this morning, and I don't actually think there's that much more to say. I won Nanowrimo, still sort of pinching myself, and still feeling a bit worn out, but really, really happy with how this month has gone. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was that obviously my book isn't done. I think I'm about 60 to 70% of the way through, which means I've probably got about another 30,000 words to go. So let me know, would you like me to keep doing weekly vlogs while I'm working on this project? At this stage, I'm hoping I'll get it done by the end of the year, just based on what my schedule's looking like in December. So that would be basically weekly vlogs for the next month. So if that's something you'd like to see, let me know and I'll do them. And if not, I will stop spamming you with these vlogs. In any case, I hope your nano's going really well. Please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, bye.